the Barcelona. Catalonia in the northeast of Spain and in the province of Catalonia plays host to round 5 of the JuniorGP Finetwork World Championship. We've already had one race today on a brilliant circuit. Long lap penalty, as you can see, is turn 2. 4.7 kilometers in length, 14 turns, and with the longest straight on the JuniorGP calendar, it is the perfect place to go racing. 6 left-handers, as we can see, 8 right-handers. It is packed full of passing opportunities because of a mixture of hard-braking and fast corners. So we are looking forward to the second race of the day here in the JuniorGP Championship. I'm Chris Jordan, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Tristan Finacchiaro, a good mate and colleague of mine. And Tristan, if it's anything like race 1, we're going to be in for another spectacle here.
Oh, absolutely. Goes without saying. As ever in the FIM JuniorGP World Championship, it is always close racing and it always throws up some sort of spectacle. Like we've said many times on the broadcast, this is the stepping stone up into the Grand Prix paddock. You cannot get into the Grand Prix paddock, a Grand Prix seat these days, without riding in the Finetwork FIM JuniorGP Championships.
So this was the story of race 1. It was championship leader Angel Piqueras on pole position. But look at that, Jacob Rulston wasting no time and slotting in behind the Estrella Galicia rider. Long run to the line. Piqueras just about managed to hold off some of the contenders behind him, while Matza hung it up the outside of Carraro to get himself into 3rd position. Rulston, though, didn't want to hang about at all in this race. Almanza had made moves and got into lead, but Australian rider Jacob Rulston put in a fine performance, and he wanted his turn out front. So Eddie O'Shea then, the number 8, but he had nothing he could do about the crash that happened behind him. Rossenthaler riding into the back of him, and what was really not a great day for the race 1, I should say, Licky Moly Husqvarna Intact GP team. Thankfully, Rossenthaler came out of that relatively unscathed. But back out front, it was Almanza and Rulston going toe-to-toe for the lead, with Adrian Cruces slotting in behind them. Angel Piqueras was part of this lead group as we look at his team watching on. Piqueras just dropped down the pecking order ever so slightly during race 1. Well, then we lost Hamada into the gravel trap halfway through. He looked a little worse for wear, but thankfully seems to be okay. Jambi Zuratuta made some moves then to get himself into the business things, as Angel Piqueras had a big moment there. Zuratuta, though, meant business. Piqueras made his move, having hung back for a couple of laps, made his move and led out front. But Joel Esteban, Zuratuta were part of the hard charger from a little bit deeper on the grid. Back into turn 1, and it was Zuratuta who had the advantage over Piqueras. Then Piqueras again just getting lit out by Jacob Rulston. Disaster for the Finetwork Mir team. David Almanza was on the podium charge, but crashed out of contention on the last lap. Out front, though, crossing the line, nobody could touch Xabi Zuratuta as he takes the win out of Jacob Rulston, and Angel Piqueras taking a podium to extend his championship advantage. So then this is a big race in terms of the JuniorGP Championship. 70 points remain on offer after this race. Angel Piqueras currently holds a 61-point advantage over Alvaro Carpe. So if he can outscore the Spaniard by 14 points, he will become the 2023 JuniorGP World Champion.
There's a crown to be decided here in Barcelona. Will it be decided today, or will he have to wait until October for the next round of the FIM JuniorGP World Championship in Aragon? I'm sure he's going to want to wrap it up today, but I'm sure the likes of Almanza, Rulston, Zuratuta, and of course his championship rivals Carpe are going to want to put themselves in the mix.
So here is the man of the hour, Piqueras, 3 wins today, coming at the Valencia doubleheader in race 1 in Jerez. A couple more podium 4 more podiums to add to his name. He's only been off the podium once at the Algarve, and that was in race 1. He was very much part of that lead group battle, but a mistake on the final lap saw him go wide, and he actually recovered quite a few positions to take that P7 finish. But we wonder what is his mindset coming into this race. He needs to outscore Alvaro Carpe by 14 points to take the title. So a victory here could do the job for him, as we see some motorcycling enthusiasts camped up and hiding from the sun. They've been there all day. They're having a great day, even their local Bocadillos. Yeah, well, what better way to spend a Sunday? Jacob Rulston then, 2 podiums to his name in 2023, and as you can see in the graphic, that race 1 Catalunya earlier this morning saw him take the second. Superb ride for him from the Australian in race 1, wasn't it, Tristan?
Yeah, incredible ride from Rulston. Was eager to try and taste victory, but he settled for a podium position, and like we said, was an incredible ride from the number 12. So expect him to be making moves in this race as well, starting from second place on the grid. He's got that inside line into turn 1. And rounding out your front row is David Almanza on the number 22 machine.
Yeah, a very, very talented rider for everyone to see, but he came 22nd, as you can see, in that race this morning. That was only after a last lap crash. He remounted, tried to get back going. Huge, huge talent. We've seen him on the Moto3 World Championship circuit. He's got a race win here to his name, podium as well last time in the Algarve. He'll be looking to bounce back in style.
Yeah, definitely got his eyes, as many of these riders do, on the world stage, on the Grand Prix stage. Stood in for Joel Kelso at the CF Moto Bristol GP team for 2 races this year. And like I said, he's got his foot in the door for the world stage. Here's your race 1 winner though, Xabi Suratuza. He heads the second row of the grid.
Yeah, really coming into form over the last couple of rounds, isn't he? 2 wins in the last 2 rounds, 2 wins in 3 races overall. First one coming in the Algarve in pretty special fashion, back at the grid, long lap penalty, and he came to win us at the final corner. This morning's race, slightly more straightforward affair, shall we say, although there is certainly nothing more straightforward than JuniorGP. He starts on the second row, will be looking to repeat his heroics from the morning. Then lining up beside him, we'll see him momentarily. It's the race 1 winner from Estoril, Nico Carraro. He hasn't quite scaled the heights. Here we see Nico. Hasn't quite scaled the heights of that opening round win, but this morning was actually a very encouraging performance from him. Good. Very much in the lead group for the majority of the race.
Yeah, definitely looked very good, very good in the race this morning. Was very racy, picked up 4th place. And was looking very encouraging, was pushing towards the podium and was, like we say, looking very strong. So he'll be looking to try and do that again here in race 2 and try and go one better and try and stand on that podium. Like we say, hasn't stood on the podium since Estoril, where he took that victory. Yeah,
undoubtedly a huge talent. Just needs to find a little bit of consistency at this level before he should make the step up. Here is a rider who has ridden on the biggest stage, that's Elia Bartolini. He's launching from 6th on the grid in race 2. Had a superb race 1 as well. You see he's finished 11th, and you ask, why is that superb? Well, he started at the back of the grid. He was handed a penalty for race 1. Came through the pack with some other offenders, shall we say, who incurred the wrath of the stewards at the back of the grid, and he came over the line in 11th place. Showing that pace, he should be able to run with the top guys here today.
Yeah, solid ride from Elia earlier on, so he'll be hoping to try and replicate that, but go this time from a little bit higher up on the grid. He'll have the number 58 of Luca Lanetta just behind him, though, his fellow Italian. Lanetta, who took pole position last time out in Portimao and has looked very strong in the past few rounds. Really come into his own this year, was struggled a little bit last year. He showed flashes of brilliance, but this year really looking good on the number 58.
Yeah, I think that's the key expression there, flashes of brilliance from Lanetta, and we saw it last time out. Today, this morning rather, he kind of sunk a little bit through the pack. We were expecting better things from him. He'll hope to rectify that. Now, Alvaro Carpe, he's got Piqueras on his mind. 7th this morning, he got 3 consecutive podiums. That put him into the championship picture. He had a hell of a ride this morning as well, and just a little bit unfortunate to fall down the lead group. but he will be eyeing up catching Angel Piqueras. He won't want to give the title to the Spaniard just yet.
Number 94 then,
Facundo
Lambias.
Llambias, all the way from Uruguay. Picked up a strong point scoring finish this morning. I think it was 9th place it was even 8th place due to the David Almanza crash, of course, but he was running at the back of that lead group for the majority of the race. We were wondering at the time, did he have the pace just to try something late on? In the end, it turns out he didn't. He was quite settled into a very, very encouraging top 10 finish.
Well, he's got that experience under his belt now. He knows he can run with the front guys. He knows he can latch onto that group. So now he'll be looking to try and get in the mix and get involved and go one step better.
Yeah, Asia Talent Team rider Danny Shariel here, 15th this morning. You can see his record, a couple top 10s and 3 15th places. So good point scoring finish. Surely the ambition for the Malaysian.
Yeah, started from the back of the grid in race 1 following a penalty from the stewards after caught riding slow in multiple sectors during the practice and qualifying action.
Adrian Cruces then just lining up beside him in P11. Another big talent coming from the country of Spain. He had a super run this morning. Just unfortunate to miss out on the podium, in all honesty. Came 5th. He's been on the podium in Jerez, couple of DNFs at the Algarve double. 5th place earlier this morning. He'll be aiming to go one better. You expect him to be very much part of that lead pack.
Definitely one to watch. They've got Alonso Lopez in the box this weekend, helping them out. Of course, Moto2 runner over at the world stage. And they got bullied back a little bit, the Finetwork boys, towards the end of the race in race 1, but we'll be looking to try and cling on to that front group for the majority of the race this time around. Eddie O'Shea will be starting from 12th place on the grid. He started from the back of the grid in race 1, another one that incurred the wrath of the stewards after caught riding slow in a couple of sectors. On the British Talent Team bike, had a couple of seasons now in Junior GP and is really looking to try and push on and get some results now.
Yeah, very encouraging ride from Eddie O'Shea. Starting 12th on the grid. He'll be hoping that he can get a good start just to run with some of those bigger names within the category. But it's a year of development for young O'Shea. Just behind him, there's a couple of bigger names. Joel Esteban is among them. Tachacombe Bouazri, of course, a race winner here. Not necessarily here, a race winner in the Junior GP category from 2022. That came in Estoril. He was on the podium in the Algarve as well. Very unfortunate to miss out. He started at the back of the grid as well. Another rider to start at the back of the grid in race 1. He's a little further up. While Joel Esteban is back there as well. Marcus Ruda is there. So there's some quality down the field. So then, your grid for race 2 here in Barcelona. It's Piqueras on pole, Rulston and Almanza make a competitive front row, and it's an exciting second row. Zurutuza, Carraro and Bartolini leading Luneta, Carpe and Llambias, who are all in row 3.
Fronting the 4th row of the grid then is Daniel Sherrill on the Junior Talent Team bike. He leads Cruces and Eddie O'Shea, who lines up in 12th. Esteban, Buchanan and Morosi make up row 5 with Adatama, Ruda and Bouazri on row 6.
Just behind them, it's Uriarte Hamada, who crashed out, and Rosenthaler, who also crashed out on row 7 from race 1. Rammersdorfer, Uchiyumi and Torin Collins. Next row back, Gabin Plonk, Uezu and Tietzi on the 9th row. And completing the grid is Gordon and Noah Detweiler. So away we go then for the warm-up lap for what should be another cracking race. The tunes have been blaring out all day. They've got the crowd excited. This really is what the fans have come to see. Some top quality action from the Junior GP category. So many stars of the future lining up on the grid here. So many stars of the present have come through this category and are shining on the World Championship stage. We've seen some big names around the paddock this weekend already. Pedro Acosta, Moto2 Championship contender, came in to give a little handout and check out some of these guys across the different categories. You already mentioned Alonso Lopez. He's in with the Finetwork guys, giving them a hand.
There's a crash on the warm-up lap there.
Oh, who's that gone down?
Can't tell from here.
Just in the corner of your screen, you can see somebody has gone down. Hopefully now they'll be able to remount. They're immediately back up. We might be able to catch a replay of that.
That's Cormac Buchanan, is it, on the number 14 machine?
Yeah, the Kiwi rider's gone down. We're not quite sure what's happened to him. He's trying to get it started again. So if he can complete his warm-up lap, we'll see where he can take his place on the grid. We'll find out in a couple of moments. Bit of a disaster for him. Hopefully we'll be able to catch a replay, because I didn't quite see that.
Always an embarrassing one, crashing on the warm-up lap, but we'll have to see what happened. It's quite easy to get caught unsighted. A lot of the riders, some of them are slowing down, some of them are trying to warm their tyres up, get the heat into the brakes. You've really actually got to be very, very aware on these warm-up laps, and it's actually a lot easier to do than you would think.
Yeah, we've seen it several times across all the categories. Even at the top level, we've seen guys crash on the warm-up laps. So hopefully all okay and he'll be able to take his place. Just keep an eye out for the number 14, who's supposed to start in 14th. So the young Kiwi rider, we're coming around now to the final corners, lining up towards the red flag. They're going to take their places on the grid. You can see the timing board in the background. PIQ Piqueras will launch from the head of the grid in P1, back on pole position, the championship leader. He will be out to seal the title today. Can he do it? Here comes Buchanan. Let's just see where he's going to line up on the grid as he comes around the final corner. Looks nothing serious, just all a little bit superficial, maybe a little bit shaken, but he should be fine.
Yeah, I'll have to put that to the back of his mind now, because the lights are going to go out and it will be time to race. Will Piqueras seal the championship in this race?
And there we can see Buchanan lining up his place on the grid. Good to see. No long-lasting effects. So the red flag is, green flag goes in the background, red flag goes, safety cars pull up, revs are beginning to go up, red lights are on, and they're about to go out. Who's going to get the best start? Great start from Piqueras, great start from Ralston. Almanza not the best, but he will slot into third position as we take the approach into turn 1. Will Piqueras remain in front? Almanza takes a little wider line. He's going to try something up the inside of Ralston, and he makes a stick, but Piqueras takes the whole shot. Almanza is into second. Ralston is in third. He's going to hang it around the outside of Almanza there. Just get back immediately. Not quite. Nico Carraro is slotted into fourth. Great start from Luca Lanetta. Much better this time. He is up into fifth. Xabi Zuratutsa, race 1 winner. Just you see the number 85 hanging at the back of this.
Piqueras then now pushed back to third. Got the whole shot. Got the perfect start off the line. But Almanza and Ralston aren't going to let him have it easy, as Carraro has a little look at the inside of Piqueras now, not able to make it stick at turn 5. Almanza is now then that leads from Ralston. Piqueras, Carraro is the number 10 machine just behind him. That's the number 85. That is Xabi Zuratutsa. He is your race 1 winner. Will he be able to do it again this race? 14 and a half laps to go.
So just on our timing screens, we see a yellow flag at turn 4, and it looks like 2 riders have been caught up in a collision, and it's more bad news for the Licky Moly Husqvarna Intact GP junior team. Ramersdorfer name has tumbled to the very bottom of the timesheets with Uriarte. There we can see it now. Leo Ramersdorfer, the young Austrian, he's had a difficult day. A couple of long lap penalties in the opening race, really interrupting his rhythm. But back out front, it's David Almanza, out to right the wrongs of race 1 he had in Barcelona. Piqueras, you're not allowed to go there, Angel. He'll have to keep an eye on those track limits. That was a little bit too obvious. Jacob Ralston then just ahead of Piqueras, while Zuratutsa looks to be making a move just up the inside behind Piqueras. Is he going to get the line out? Well, he's Carraro on the right, Piqueras in the middle, and Zuratutsa up the inside, and it looks like Zuratutsa is going to slot into third place, while Ralston takes the lead off Almanza coming through turn 1. Flick it back left again through turn 2. Ralston in control out front. Almanza, Zuratutsa, no change in the top 3 or even top 5. Piqueras has been bunted back to 5th place. Out of the seat, Adrian Cruces just there. He's managed to keep it pinned. Alvaro Carpe just behind him. He's going to get the better of Cruces. And Carpe is just behind his championship rival. He's going to set his sights on Angel Piqueras.
It's confirmed then, no jump starts for any of the grids, so we don't have to keep an eye out for that one. Ralston then leading from Almanza. Zuratutsa, Carraro looking menacing. Is he going to make a move up the inside of the number 85? Not this time around. Now Piqueras has been pushed to the back of this group now. He just needs to make sure he finishes in front of his title rival, but it needs to be 14 points more that he needs to score.
Couple of riders out on track limits there. Almanza taking a very wide line there, and Rulston has shot in front of him. Zuratiza in third, and Carraro still in fourth, with Piqueras in fifth. And there's a little bit of a gap after opening up between Piqueras and Carpe, as the front five have settled into a pretty quick rhythm. They're in the 154s on the last lap, 154 flats even, while if we look back, they're a little bit slower, a couple tenths slower from Alvaro Carpe's group. Almanza then, is he going to get the hooks into Rulston here? Rulston still waiting for that breakthrough win. Was on the podium this morning, has been on the podium before in 2023, but he wants that win more than anything.
Fastest man on circuit currently, Joel Esteban on the number 7. You can just see him in the back of the picture on the red machine, the number 7. He's a rider who did very well in ETC last year and really coming into his own this year in Junior GP as well. Some moves being made there between Zuratuza and Carraro. There's confirmation. Esteban, the only man currently in the 149s. And Esteban on the move is where he is, just up behind the number 58 of Luca Lunetta. Lunetta trying to latch himself onto the back of Carpe, who's trying to latch himself onto the back of Piqueras. Expect with the kilometre-long straight here, the slipstream to come into full effect, and these groups will be bunched together once again.
Yeah, a little bit of chopping and changing out front has just brought Alvaro Carpe into the coattails of Angel Piqueras. So we're looking at this lead group getting potentially even bigger. So as you mentioned, Esteban, the fastest rider on track, and by a considerable bit as well. He had a couple of tenths in his pocket over anyone else on track in the last lap. So watch out for the number 7. You'll just see him pop out here now at some stage. There he is, just in behind Luca Lunetta. He's coming for this podium that he also
around the outside of Lunetta.
Wow, brilliant.
Too wide though, too wide.
Too wide. We were in awe. We thought it was too good to be true, and indeed it was. He went way too wide on Lunetta. It looked like he was hanging up a move on Alvaro Carpe too. But out front, Rulston still in control. So very much like the opening race. Rulston and Almanza out front. Jabi Zuratuza has pushed up earlier. He left it a little bit later in the last race before he started showing his real promise. Almanza then pulling the wider line. Zuratuza goes with him. Rulston ploughing a lone furrow on the left-hand side before cutting it across. Nico Carraro and Angel Piqueras coming through the centre. Who's going to take the lead coming through turn 1? It looks like Rulston is in control here. Carraro and Piqueras getting a little bit close there, and Carraro nearly runs into the back of Zuratuza. But again, it's as you were, Rulston, Almanza, Zuratuza as they come round turn 3.
The freight train has bunched together then, just as we predicted it would. And now Piqueras has Cruces, Carpe, Lunetta, Esteban all for company.
So it's a field packed with quality from across the world, and many of those talented riders have come through the Asian Talent Cup. And as you can see on your screen, if you wish to participate from the continent of Asia or Oceania, then you can start applying now, and your road to MotoGP begins now. Back on track though, it's Jacob Rulston still leading over Almanza, and Almanza, he's going to have a little look up the inside here, is he? And he's been cut off. Yeah, it was very ambitious. I was just about to say, Almanza, I wonder what's going through his head. So much burgeoning potential, always part of the front 3, front 5, but just manages to crash out of contention as Adrian Cruces hangs around the outside of his teammates and pushes himself up into 3rd place at the expense of Xabi Zuratuza. But going back onto Almanza, you wonder what's running through his head after a last lap crash in race 1. It's happened several times so far from promising positions. Is he just trying to find the limit too much? Is he pushing beyond his capabilities?
Fine margins in Junior GP, and it is. You can just see how close this racing is. Look at all these bikes, all in victory contention. This is incredible scenes here with 11 laps to go at this circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, and all these riders are in victory contention. They span across the whole width of the circuit down into turn 1, but it's Rulston that holds firm. There's some moves being made. Unfortunately, Marcus Uriarte has crashed out. Lunetta's forced to go through the long lap loop. He must have been pushed wide or made a mistake or something there. So he's going to have to make sure. There was another rider in there who went there with him. They'll have to make sure they lose enough time. they don't incur the wrath of the stewards, but I'm pretty sure you can see
Here
Lunetta
comes
there.
Joel Esteban into third place. Here comes the charge from a recent race winner at the Algarve. And it's a pretty familiar sight seeing him with Almanza and Piqueras. He's just dropped down a little bit, but Esteban loves the charge from deep on the grid. But yet, it's still Jacob Rulston and David Almanza who are taking control of this race at 1 and 2. That hasn't changed for quite a while. But just behind them, this lead group is just getting bigger and bigger.
We saw it in race 1. Rulston does like to lead, and Almanza likes to be at the front of the group as well. Rulston, don't know the exact figures, but probably led more laps than any in race 1. Now, and he's defending that first place very well as his teammate tries that round the outside move once again. Didn't learn that from the first time, though, that it doesn't work, and he's dropped back a few positions now. Just slots himself underneath Alvaro Carpe, the number 83, does manage to hold that position then. And Rulston looking confident out the front. He looked a little bit disappointed with P2, it has to be said, when he was Zuratuzat running onto the green. Was one to keep an eye out, but looked a little bit disappointed with P2. Wants that win.
Yeah, absolutely. And the same could be said for Piqueras. Both of those riders were targeting that win. Piqueras, obviously, for different reasons in terms of the championship race, but Rulston wants that breakthrough win. Oh, he is craving for it oh so much. And, well, he's finally been bunted back here as the Finetwork mirror team come through and do a 1-2 on him. And Almanza fires into the front with Adrian Cruces just behind. Let's see if Rulston has anything in his locker while Alvaro Carpe shoots up into 4th position. Crucially, second in the championship, Carpe. Angel Piqueras is currently running in 9th place. So that would mean the championship battle continues over to Aragon, but a long, long way to go yet in this race. And any one of these riders from, what is it, a group of 15 out front? Probably, because I'm looking at Nico Carraro's name all the way back in 15th place. He has been bossed back into the group, having run with the front riders over the first couple of laps. But a long way to go, yes, as we look at Zuratuzat just in behind Morosi. Esteban following Zuratuzat, the race 1 winner. Great ride here from RB Aditama, the Indonesian. That will be a popular one over the island of Indonesia. Rider coming through that ATC program and doing quite well here in JuniorGP. But out front again, so it's the Finetwork mirror duo of Almanza, the 22, and Adrian Cruces, the number 11 in 1 and 2. Jacob Rulston just slotted in behind them. Not a whole lot of chopping and changing as of yet out front. But we are looking at a charge here from the number 19 of Morosi, the Eagle 1 team. You can see him there, predominantly black livery with blue and orange on it, as we keep eyes on the number 8 of Eddie O'Shea, who's having a fine ride for himself, just ahead of Aditama. And Eddie O'Shea, this is very encouraging stuff from the young Brighton. Put in a very encouraging run from the back of the grid to get himself into P12 in race 1. So he's showing some excellent pace here in Barcelona. Down into turn 1, Joel Esteban swings it out very wide. Eddie O'Shea takes the innermost line, but it's Xabi Zuratuzat. He loves that move up the inside of turn 1, who leads Adrian Cruces, and is that Morosi, who I see has gone into 3rd position. Cruces trying to hang it on the outside of the race 1 winner, Zuratuzat, but Zuratuzat has the answer for him. So it's Zuratuzat, Cruces, Morosi. Just behind them, it's still chopping and changing. Alvaro Carpe looking to get a move on David Almanza. Eddie O'Shea still in the thick of that battle, as is Joel Esteban. So it's all happening here in Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona.
Zuratuzat then hits the front, of course, your race 1 winner, and he's going to be looking to capitalise on this advantage he's got now in this race. He's pulled out a couple of bike lengths, of course, with that kilometre-long straight, as we've seen so many times. He will be reeled back into the group by the Finetwork boys. Almanza and Cruces won't let him escape. Esteban now, after dropping back through the order, has now climbed his way back up into 4th position, and Eddie O'Shea is on a charge now. He's up into 6th position. He's going to be looking for a return to the podium. It's been a while for the Brit as they all change positions down into the hard braking turn 10. A lot of the time on the side of the tyre. Esteban likes that wide line, doesn't he? But he keeps losing positions when he does it. And now he's falling into the clutches of O'Shea. How are the positions going to change when they come along the front straight? One more time down into the final corner. For one more time, it'll be 8 laps remaining when they come and cross the line.
I tell you what, for all the chopping and changing in that lead group, Eddie O'Shea is the fastest rider on the last lap out there. He put in a 150, a little bit slower this time, 7/10 slower in fact, but still among the quickest riders, with a couple of riders, Almanza and Bruce is ahead of him.
Esteban trying to go around the outside, and O'Shea up into second place now as well. Sorry to cut in there, Chris.
No worries, much more interesting on-track footage happening than a roundup of the times, but Eddie O'Shea is on fire here so far. Is he going to take the lead here inside Cruces? Absolutely is. This would be a monumental win for the young Brighton, and it was still a long way to go, and Morosi hot on his heels as well. This is a new look podium if that were to stick like that, but Almanza has fought back to take second place. But brilliant stuff from Eddie O'Shea to date.
Never tasted victory in the Junior GP category. Tasted plenty of victory back in the British Talent Cup when he was a front runner over in that category. Was promoted up into the British Talent team as a part of Dorna's Road to MotoGP, a scheme that's working incredibly well with the Asia Talent Cup and the Asia Talent team, and a very similar scheme working for the Brits as well. And Dorna doing so much for the youth, trying to get different nationalities over in the World Championship stage, and it's paying dividends here with Eddie O'Shea as he puts himself towards the front of this race. Loses the lead now though to, that's Almanza, who slotted himself up the inside.
And we can see the live championship picture. It would be Zurututsa who would jump into second place. Piqueras still with 51-point advantage. We see a yellow flag popping up on our timing screens at turn 12. We'll bring you more information on that as we have it. But it was just over a couple of corners ago, a couple of riders running onto the green. And I've seen some track limits warnings handed out. Angel Piqueras has been culpable.
Oh, on the grass for O'Shea!
And that's lost the drive. Almanza fires into the lead.
Oh, the Asia Talent team bikes down. Must be one of the
Tachakorn Bouasri has gone down at turn 12. Oof. Eddie O'Shea bunting into Almanza. Is that Jacob Rolson who's out? It's Joel Esteban out front, and he was out of the seat there momentarily. Arbi Aditama has moved up into second position. Ooh, and Eddie O'Shea, we're not sure on that. We'll double check that, but that doesn't look good. Hopefully it's all precaution and he's just a little bit winded. But Zurutut in second place behind Morosi. Aditama having a sensational ride, the Indonesian, and he's in third place. But guarantee that's all going to change. Morosi leading Zurututsa, Aditama, Alvaro Carpe's in there too. So is Jacob Rolson, Joel Esteban, David Almanza. It's a group packed with quality, and as you can see, Eddie O'Shea is still running there. He's very much showing some excellent pace here, but he's coming up against the top guys, sandwiched in between Almanza and Piqueras on track. So he's got some good pedigree either side of him.
Who wouldn't want to be betting money on this race? Any of these riders could win it. O'Shea's gone from leading the race to being battered down the order, down into 7th place, and these positions keep chopping and changing. Pick a name out of a hat, like we say. Would not want to bet on this one. Aditama leads now.
Yeah, it's such a large lead group as well. There's 15 to 16 riders here, and any of them can just find a little bit of pace, like we've seen Arbi Aditama has come from nowhere, deep down on the grid, and was just part of this group, and now he's out front. Absolutely sensational stuff. The same could be said for Eddie O'Shea, launched from 12th, having a super ride, and he's part of this victory conversation.
Aditama's current best race classification has been 9th, and he scored that back at Jerez and hasn't finished inside the top 10 since. O'Shea now looking menacing, but it's Esteban that makes his way to the front.
Big crash. Is that Morosi who's gone?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
Morosi in the number 19. Ah, devastating blow for Morosi. He was in such fine form here today. Very much part of that podium battle. I'm not 100% sure who he collided with or if he collided. Let's take a look. The number 19, far right, into the side of Arbi Aditama.
It can happen.
It happens when it's all bunched up like that. Space is at a premium.
He got a little bit, Aditama had a bit of a nudge there from Carpe, which pushed him a little bit wide, which pushed him, unfortunately, into Morosi. Racing incident, these things happen. All the riders competing for the same piece of tarmac, and unfortunately it's ended in the gravel trap for Morosi.
You can see Morosi not exactly pleased, but there will be more days for Morosi. he'll take a lot of encouragement from the performance today. As we look, Joel Esteban out front, Eddie O'Shea not giving up the ghost yet of his podium. He might have run it a little bit wide there onto the green, but Eddie O'Shea very much in contention here as David Almanza comes charging through. And uh-oh, look out behind you, fellas. Angel Piqueras is beginning to make some moves on the front places. And he is ahead of Alvaro Carpe, so that's big in the championship picture, but as things stand, it won't be enough for him to take home the title today.
O'Shea then doing very, very well out the front of this race, but he's got the rookie Joel Esteban, the rookie sensation of Joel Esteban to fend with still as they come across the line. 5 laps remaining of this circuit, the Barcelona, Catalunya. And the positions, I'm sure, will change as they go down into turn 1. Again, O'Shea tries to take the defensive line and makes contact with Almanza there as he swoops back across the tarmac, across the track. And Almanza now heads to the front, and O'Shea's gone from the lead down. He's been battered right down the order there.
Yeah, that can happen in this class with so much slipstream into effect. It's all bunched up. We saw it last time at Morosi. Space is at a premium. And if you can't find, as Alonso Lopez watching nervously on, but if you can't find space coming through there, you could be in trouble, and we've just seen that with Eddie O'Shea. No problem, though, for David Almanza, who is continuing to put in an exhibition out front. And just as I say that, I'm so sorry I gave you the commentator's curse. He's been bunted down to P3, P4 even, as Jacob Rolston, Angel Piqueras and Alvaro Carpe make their way through. And that's the number 58 in the background, Luca Lanetta. He's found some pace. He's been part of the back. He was at the back of this large lead group. He's now at the front. It is all happening and changing. Turn 1 is pivotal. If this lead group stays like this going on to the final couple of laps, anyone could win it. Anyone could win it coming into turn 1 because the slipstream is so immense down there. Almanza, Rolston has done excellent jobs defending in at times, but you were seeing the likes of Lunesa, RB Aditama had a run at it, Eddie O'Shea has had a run at it, and there's a lot of quality. RB Aditama is now back in 12th position. So looking at Luca Lanetta here, he's on for another podium, is he? He's going to target 1, but it's David Almanza is in front of him, behind Alvaro Carpe in P3, Angel Piqueras in 2nd, and Jacob Rolston, who is leading this race 2 here in Barcelona.
Let's see if Piqueras can make a move down into turn 1. He's eager to clinch the championship honours in this race. Will he be able to do it? He's going to have to win if he wants it. Carpe, though, in front of him, and he needs to finish in front of Carpe to be able to win the championship.
Yeah, it's Carpe, Piqueras then 1-2. I was just watching a little further down the grid to see if there are any chargers coming through. The number 69 of Marcus Ruda is among them, but he didn't quite make a stick coming through the opening couple of corners. But Jacob Rolston, having led only a couple of corners ago, is way back. It is very tight. It's elbows out racing. It's hard racing, but it's fair racing.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Rolston who's gone?
No, I think that's Nico Carraro, the number 10, that's gone down.
Disaster.
Unfortunate for the Italian, finishes his weekend in the gravel trap, not the end to the weekend, to his weekend that he would have wanted. O'Shea now looking strong in 5th in this battle. There he is. Really unfortunate. He's going to get restarted, and Rigor is going to give it a go anyway. Yeah,
with just over 3 laps to go, it's a big ask to come from the back of the pack. Disaster for the number 10 as Alvaro Carpe runs out onto the green there. These guys really need to be careful coming around those corners. That's a few times it's happened. But Nico Carraro, he was showing such good pace this weekend. He's got a P4, his best since the season opener. And he was very much among the pack here, so disappointment for him. But out front then, it's Alvaro Carpe. David Almanza has not left the top 3 positions in I don't know how long, while Angel Piqueras is just hanging into P3. Track limits warning, I think, for Alvaro Carpe. I did notice him going wide, coming through one of the turns and running onto the green, so now he needs to keep it pinned at all times, otherwise he's off through the long lap penalty, and that will be disastrous to his podium hopes and perhaps even title ambitions. But David Almanza leading here, Eddie O'Shea on the far left, Piqueras taking the widest line, but it's Almanza again who's done brilliantly. Piqueras into 2nd, Eddie O'Shea from that inside line slots into 3rd position, and it's all changed. Once again, Joel Esteban is up there, Alvaro Carpe just in front of the Spaniard, Carpe in 4th position. Zurita to the race 1 winner there. You can see the number 85 is in 6th. Just behind them, I'm looking for some of the bigger names like Jacob Rulston. He's there in 8th position behind Luca Lanetta.
Almanza leads, then Carpe makes his way back up into a podium position ahead of Eddie O'Shea. O'Shea was saying back at Portimao that he feels like he's made a big step on board his Honda Moto3 machine, and clearly whatever it was, whatever he's found with him and his team, it's working. The junior talent team helping the British rider as well as some of the Asian talent team riders as well. Now David Almanza looks comfortable at the front of this race, but still 2.5 laps remaining, and it's becoming towards crunch time. Ruda out on the green. A few of the riders venturing out of track limits there, so it's going to be one to try and keep an eye on.
Track limits warning for Arbi Aditama as well.
But it's all hotting up at the front of this race here. They're coming through the final sector once again, and Esteban again with that wide swooping line. He likes those lines. Sometimes loses him a few positions though. There is Ruda, who we saw venture out onto the track, out of track bound. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Itiumi at the very back of this grid, the number 91. He's following Elia Bartolini and Facundo Iambias. They're at the very back. Will they have any say in what's going on? I think they're a little bit too far with just 2 laps to go. So in race 2 here in the Junior GP World Championship from Barcelona. And how many wide are we going in here? 5, 6 riders. But it's Joel Esteban who takes the lead going into turn 1, followed by Zuratuza. And, well, not anymore. It looks like Rolston has got the inside, and we've lost a rider.
57 has gone down.
Oh,
that's
disaster. Danny Chadriel is gone. Esteban, though, leading out front, and Piqueras has begun to make another move. He's in second place. Arbi Aditamas into
he's taken O'Shea out, and a few other of the riders. Carpe's gone down as well.
Oh, multi-rider incident there. Let's hope they are all okay, because they've gone into one another there.
That Rulston,
4 riders. Oh, disaster for a number of riders. I'm not quite sure who are all mixed up in that, but I think Zuratuza was in there. Eddie O'Shea looks to have been caught up in it as well.
This is played into the hands of Angel Piqueras now, who has taken the lead of
Have we
this
lost
race.
Alvaro Carpe as well? So this could be the title. This could be the title for Angel Piqueras. He just needs to outscore Alvaro Carpe by 11 points in this race, and he very much is on for 25 here. The title could be going the way of Angel Piqueras. Adrian Cruz fires it up the inside. Well, that is a huge crash. We're going to get a replay of it shortly, surely, and we can tell you more detail exactly what happened. But absolute disaster. Eddie O'Shea, Zuratuza, Rulston, all gone as Chadriel crashed out moments before. We're waiting for confirmation on Carpe.
Zuratuza as well went down. So quite a few
absolute
riders
disaster,
there.
But Piqueras.
Let's have a look what happened here. So you could see Almanza go swooping, went to the inside.
Bumps into O'Shea, O'Shea bumps
and it's
into
just
Ralston.
like Skittles, they've gone down.
Carpe flying out to the left, and that is all played out. It's not the way you want to see it, but it's Angel Piqueras now leading. 25 points on offer. He only needs 11. He is on for the title here in Barcelona.
Piqueras leads then from Aditama and Almanza. Almanza's been in there for the whole race long, and it looks as if Piqueras could very well be picking up the championship this weekend. He's already a Red Bull Rookies champion. Will he be an FIM Junior GP champion? Yellow flags out there, but they're making moves anyway.
There was some passing there.
Definitely.
That might come back. I misspoke, by the way. It's actually 14 points which Piqueras needs.
Okay.
So a podium finish will deliver him the title. And he's very much on for that. Arbi Aditama out front. David Almanza, can he stay on track on this last lap? He's slotted into second. Adrian Cruz is just behind him, but Angel Piqueras has made a move. Almanza firing it back up the inside now. And that might just be the last thing he wants. He won't want to battle and risk getting caught up in any incidents. But we're on the last lap. Arbi Aditama on for a big win here, but a long way to go yet. Is anyone going to try and move up the inside? You bet you.
There's contact there!
Contact, and Piqueras has been bunted down. Luca Lanetta has pulled off a ridiculous move on that left-hander. He's taken 3 for 1. He's punted Angel Piqueras down the pack. Adrian Cruz has gone down the pack. We've yellow flags at turn 5. That won't affect these guys. They're gone past that point. But now Piqueras, Ambias is out on the green. Piqueras is now being pushed all the way back, and the title is slipping away from him. So he will now win the title, but Almanza is going toe to toe.
Oh, he got him on the
Almanza's done
line.
it on the line. Almanza's done it on the line. He's denied Aditama by 5,000ths of a second. Oh, that is a stunning last sector. David Almanza has taken the win. RB Aditama, a brilliant podium. And Luca Lunetta with a move for the ages up the inside, a 3-for-1. Angel Piqueras crosses the line 6th. It looks like he was going to get a podium and the title, but in the end he's come behind Adrian Cruces and Joel Esteban. Esteban in 4th, Cruces in 5th, Piqueras 6th. Facundo Yambias, brilliant results, top 7 for him. Marcus Ruda, Elia Bartolini and Uchiumi in the top 10. That was a breathless last sector. The title was there for Piqueras. The victory was there for RB Aditama. In the end, neither one was delivered to either rider. It's David Almanza who steals it on the line in sensational fashion. A brilliant, brilliant Junior GP race, Tristan.
What an end to a thrilling race here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Almanza, incredible victory, was there right until the checkered flag, was keeping himself in contention. Aditama will be disappointed he didn't get the victory, but still a career first podium in Junior GP for Aditama, so he's going to be happy with that one as he takes 2nd place. Lunetta capitalised so well, saw his opportunity, saw the other riders bashing bars, running wide, and he took the opportunity, held that inside line, and a perfect podium for the number 58.
Yeah, super stuff all round. Uchiumi as well, picking up a brilliant top 10 result. Popping a wheelie as we watch RB Aditama. Here we have the Estrella Galicia riders, Yambias and Piqueras, just stopping on track, having a little look around, a little conversation. Not sure what the topic of the discussion is. Probably that breathless last sector that just changed the whole landscape of the championship picture. One of the moves of the weekend, even moves of the year, came from this rider, Luca Lunetta, out of nowhere. Took a 3-for-1 to take 3rd position and bunt Angel Piqueras all the way back down the pack. That happened at turn 10. Absolute brilliant drama all the way through. Of course, there was the last lap crash which wiped out a couple of other contenders. We'll see a replay of that shortly. But for now, the celebrations are all about this guy, David Almanza. 2nd win of the year for Almanza. Emotional victory, 2nd of the year. Is probably a little too late for a championship charge, but what a talent this young Spaniard is of the Finetwork Mirror team. Let's listen to some of these celebrations. Clear shouts of vamos all around. Let's go indeed. Almanza just having a quick chat with some of the team bosses there as they look to dissect what really was a thrilling race 2 here in Barcelona. RB Aditama, first podium in the class. Absolutely superb ride as the Dunlop hat is thrown on top of him. Just a reflection of the race. Congratulations reaching in for him. And just in the background there, Luca Lunetta. You can look at him. P3 once again, and an absolutely super ride. That's his 3rd podium of the year after a disappointing race 1. What a way to bounce back, and what a way to do it. That stunning last lap 3-1 overtake in turn 10. So huge congratulations all around to the 3 riders who stand on the podium here in Barcelona, race 2, round 5. And this is the story of the race. Joel Esteban leading, Jacob Rulston, but then we lost one of the riders. That was Danny Shariel, who crashed out moments later. Huge crash here. Eddie O'Shea, Zurututsa, part of it. Alvaro Carpe, crucially, second in the championship, all wiped out. That meant Angel Piqueras just had to finish on the podium to take the win, but Luca Linetta's brilliant move at the end denied him. And Almanza, look how close that is. Photo finish. My, oh my. You could throw a blanket over the 2 of them. That is just a hair's breadth between them. That's the run to the line. That's the slipstream effect. And that's why riders want it so much. Second win of the day, or of the year, I should say, goes to David Almanza. Race 2 here at Barcelona. Super stuff. We'll hear from him momentarily. He'll be with our reporter down in Parc Ferme, which is Tristan, just getting some last congratulations and last celebrations in before talking to Tristan down below. Another breathless race from the Junior GP category, race 2 in Barcelona. One that will live long in the memory, and we will momentarily hear from the rider who came out on top by just 5 thousandths of a second. Luca Linetta not far behind, 700ths behind, just under 800ths off second place. So very close, top 3. Joel Esteban came home 4th, Adrian Cruces in 5th. Championship leader Angel Piqueras is now on the tip of glory. Couldn't quite seal it today, but he takes home a strong point scoring finish. Oh, now something has happened here. We will see it. It seems there might have been a change. Oh, it's all changed. There's drama after the checkered flag here. Arbi Aditama has been awarded the win. We'll have clarification for you soon. There was a delay between our interviews, so we were wondering what was happening. David Almanza, he must have run onto the green on the last lap, but it's Arbi Aditama takes a historic first race win. The Indonesian rider. Wow. Well, it looked like Almanza had stolen it. So here we go. Riders number 22 and 58. Oh, disappointment for Luca Linetta as well. They overtook. We saw it happen on the live that there was a crash and overtaking under the yellow flags. Alonso Lopez there in the background doesn't look best pleased. So as a result, we have a new standings and a new podium. Arbi Aditama is the leader. He is the race winner. Brilliant. David Almanza drops to second position, and Joel Esteban is promoted on to the podium at the expense. You can see it there, the Italian Luca Linetta. Absolutely gutted. Let's not take away from what was a brilliant last lap move from the number 58. So this should be a replay of the incident. We'll see some riders in the yellow flag, clear as day. You can see Lunetta moving into 4th position, and Almanza had made his move at that stage. Yellow flags were there. Marshals were in the gravel. It's clear as day. That you might feel it's harsh, but it is the rules. But now here is Arbi Aditama with Tristan. Let's get his thoughts.
Arbi Aditama, an incredible victory. Put yourself in the perfect position on that last lap. Just talk us through what happened.
Yeah, incredible race for me. It's so hot. It's well hot in here. Thank you to all of my team, Junior Talent team and Astra Honda Racing team, and all of my sponsors. Thank you to all my family, my friends, my mom who always support me. Incredible feelings. I cannot describe it. Sorry. Thank you so much.
And in your native language?
Ya, di race kali ini sangat panas. Race yang begitu berat bagi saya. Tapi saya berterima kasih kepada Junior Talent team dan Astra Honda Racing team. Serta para sponsor yang telah support kami, teman-teman saya, keluarga saya, dan semuanya yang telah mendukung saya. Terima kasih.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Thank you so much.
A very happy young Indonesian, and this is how he did it. Angel Piqueras started on pole. Great start from Jacob Rulston though, but it was Piqueras who took the whole shot going into turn 1. David Almanza didn't have the goodest start as Rulston, but had the run into the line to sit into P2. Rulston, the Australian rider, taking 3rd, battling back. Almanza eventually shot into the front. Piqueras was dropped back down to third position at the expense of Rulston, who was happy to sit into second place. Disappointment for Leo Rammersdorfer, difficult day for him as he crashed out very early on. While back out front, Morosi was having a hell of a ride, and as was Arbi Aditama coming from deep on the grid. Arbi Aditama taking the lead here ahead of Morosi with Zuratutsa in third. 7 riders abreast here. Joel Esteban for the most right takes the lead, but this was a crash. Morosi's great ride came to an end at turn 1 after collision with another rider. Alvaro Carpe then led for a while ahead of championship rival Angel Piqueras. Zuratutsa sat into third position, and then another faller in the background. That was Nico Carraro. Disappointing. He was having a good day here in Barcelona. Disappointing way for him to end it. Almanza back out in front then. Joel Esteban trying to move up the inside of Eddie O'Shea there. David Almanza though going wide. Back at the front, Esteban leading ahead of Rolston. Danny Sharil crashing out. Huge disappointment for him. And then the pivotal moment of the race. Carpe bunted out. Zuratutsa taken out. Rolston taken out, as was Eddie O'Shea. Huge moment. That meant Angel Piqueras just needed a podium finish. He was running among the top 2, but this was the pivotal moment. David Almanza, Luca Lanetta, both made moves under yellow flags. So that cost them a place, a one place position penalty at the end. And despite all the late drum, brilliant move from Luca Lanetta to get himself in third position. Almanza, second position behind Arbi Aditama, got into the slipstream and did him on the line by 5,000 seconds, but because he overtook on yellow flags, the win was awarded to Fadila Arbi Aditama. Time for the podium though. So we've got the team representative coming out. Astra Honda Racing Team representative. Proud moment for his team and rider. Next out, Joel Esteban. Crossed the line in fourth, but due to Luca Lanetta overtaking rather under yellow flags, the Italian was penalized, which means Esteban is back on the podium. Following up his win in race 2 in the Algarve with a race 2 podium here. Disappointment somewhat then for David Almanza. He crashed out in race 1, thought he had taken the win here in race 2 by 5,000ths of a second, but that yellow flag infringement demoted him a place. And look at this, Arbi Aditama, the Indonesian rider for the first time on the top step of the podium in Junior GP, a moment he will never forget. Vice President of the FIM Europe then, Jean-Marc Desnus, out to award the trophy to the team representative from Honda Racing Team.
El tercer classificat, pilot de casa, pilot català, és el Joel, que havia guanyat l'Algarve. Avui aquí a Barcelona, fet tercer, Joel Esteban.
Joel Esteban picking up his third prize of the season, following on from one other podium and one race win. Josep Luis Santamaria, managing director of the circuit here, hands out a pretty good consolation prize. You can see he's still pretty happy with his P2 finish. David Almanza back on the podium, a huge talent and surely a star of the future. And then Moto3 World Championship star Ayumu Sasaki hands out the winning trophy to Arbi Aditama. Well, he picks up an extra prize as well, the Finetwork free Wi-Fi. And now we will listen to the Indonesian national anthem.
Okay, congratulations, enhorabuena. Ha sonat el himne d'Indonèsia.
A very proud moment in motorcycle sports for Indonesia as Indonesia Raya, the national anthem of the island nation, rings out across Barcelona. With such a growing popularity of motorcycling, of motorcycle racing within the country, of course MotoGP is back visiting there. We expect to see many more Indonesian riders come through the Asia Talent Cup and then through the JuniorGP series and perhaps even onto the World Championship stage in the future.
Aquí els tenim, aquests tres primers classificats. Un Joel Esteban. Venga, vamos a remojarlo. Soledad, pues con gaseosa, como persigue. Oy, oy. Yeah!
So then, do you remember ringing it out across circuit the Barcelona Catalunya? I'm sure Fadila Harbi-Aditama will never forget. He takes the win ahead of David Almanza. Joel Esteban promoted at the expense of Luca Lanetta, who comes fourth. Adrian Cruz says fifth. Piquera sixth, so his title wait goes on and rolls into Aragon in a couple of months' time. Marcus Ruda, Facundo Yambias and Elia Bartolini all scoring some decent point scoring finishes inside the top 10. Rounding out the top 10 is Japanese rider Kotaro Uchiumi, who didn't finish a million miles away from the front guys. Cormac Buchanan had that warm-up crash but managed to recover for P11. Noah Detweiler, Jacob Rossenthaler, Alex Gourdon and Cesare Tiezzi round out your point scoring finishers. Looking through the rest of the finishers, Torin Collins came 18th, he was the last of them, and then crashes for Uriarte Uetsu, Carpe, Zuratutsa, O'Shea, Wilson, Shariel. I mean, they don't pick up any points when there are one or two more in there. Nico Carraro, Alessandro Morosi, Tachakombu Asri, and Leo Ramsdorfer. So leaving Barcelona, this is the state of play in the championship, and Angel Piqueras just needs 7 points from the remaining 3 rounds to outscore Joel Esteban by 7 points in the remaining 3 rounds. He's 68-point advantage. Esteban second at the expense of Carpe. Rudson fourth, Lanetta fifth, Zuratutsa sixth, Almanza seventh, Carraro, Cruces 8th and 9th, Buathri in the top 10, Buchanan, Eddie O'Shea, Elio Bartolini, following Buazri, Jacob Rossenthaler, Alessandro Morosi didn't pick up any points. Harbi-Aditama, 25 points today, sees him jump up to 16th in the standings, ahead of Marcus Ruda and a whole host of regular point scorers such as Yambias, Detweiler, Crash for Shariel, Uriarte, didn't see him pick up any points. Top 10 for Uchiumi sees him move up the standings, ahead of Azawa and Leo Ramsdorfer. Alex Gourdon has 2 points to his name. And then 1 point each for Tiezzi and Collins. So it was drama to the wire and beyond here in JuniorGP Race 2 of Barcelona. But at the end of the day, it's Fadila Harbi-Aditama who takes the win.